Your credit card is the devil. And if you don't begin perceiving your credit card as the devil, if you don't begin demonizing debt, I think it's a high likelihood. I don't think. I know it's a high likelihood that you will be in debt. And the thing about overspending and the thing about credit cards is credit card companies have done a fantastic job at brainwashing us. They've done a fantastic job at making our credit scores into this sexy thing that we're so proud of, that our self-esteems are tethered towards. Our self-esteems are associated with this notion of I have a high credit score. We listen to people talk about how, no, debt is cool, credit's cool, because then you leverage your debt and blah, blah, blah. Putting aside owning a home, putting aside having a home fully paid off, it's very unlikely that the average person is going to perform the financial gymnastics required in order to quote unquote leverage your debt. And it's also similar to me looking at people, an athlete. There's like Dwight Howard and DK Metcalf. If I'm not mistaken, both of them, I've heard in my life, both of them speak about their nutrition. And their nutrition is terrible in a lot of ways. And that's like me looking at Dwight Howard eating like tons of candy and being like, he eats a lot of candy and he's an athlete. So all I got to do, I can eat a lot of candy too, but I just need to work out a lot. No, my body doesn't respond to that. Even at the height of my healthiest self, when I was working out way more, candy still had a massive, significant inflammatory effect upon my system to where I just couldn't mess with it. And I still can't mess with it. And it just is what it is. My system can't handle it. My point is, you can listen to other people talk about what they do and then base your decisions off what they're doing. Or you could be honest about your own mentality, your own makeup. The way my mind leans, my mind wants to look at my credit card limit and look at it like it's my money. My mind wants to perceive it as that's my money. When in actuality, I'm in the red every single time I swipe that mug. And maybe if not literally in that moment, the implication of it is there every single time I swipe it. And I'm so brainwashed by the credit card companies, even though I don't have debt currently, I still find myself when I go to the grocery store, I still swipe my card and I pay it off for the points and whatnot. But I am of the mind that like, that's even awful. And so I aspire to never use it again. I aspire to only use my debit. You know why? You know why this is so fascinating? Let's talk about why it's fascinating now. The reason why the way we spend is fascinating is because it directly correlates with our overall psychology. There's a reason why we cringe when we use our debit cards. And then there's a reason why we feel more laxed when we use our credit cards. Because there's this sense of, I can just kick the can down the road, it's all good. But that's still a willing delusion. Because I know, even though I'm not in debt, I know that at any point, it's a slippery slope where I can slip and fall and just let my mind get on that momentum of it's fine. And before you know it, as they say, it's so easy. It's so easy to go into debt, but it's so hard. It's so hard to get out of it, man. It's so hard and it's hell and it sucks. And what's required in order to not go into significant debt, or to, how about this? What's required to get out of it is being disciplined. And that's why this fascinates me, because it's totally, everything I talk about is in regards to health, especially when I call the 4 pillars of stability: sleep, nourishment, physical activity, healthy conversations. My mind never cared about money, right? I never cared about it. I never cared. And I still don't care about money in the sense that other people do, where they base their relationships off it. Their self-esteem hinges upon it. They care about status and just like stuff. I don't care about that. But where I messed up is because I didn't care about money. I also had, when I was younger, I had this lackadaisical attitude towards spending with my credit card. And that bit me in the ass a couple of times. Because it's like a feature in the mind where it's like it's we tell ourselves it's fine, but it's not fine. And the sooner we talk about it, the sooner we recognize it, the more likely it is that we'll do something about it. I recall the first moment when I had that epiphany in regards to health consciousness. I remember my first steps towards health consciousness. I was 18 or 19, and my brother Eric had shared with me nutritional literature about high fructose corn syrup and quote unquote puff grains. And I remember the first thing I did was I threw all of the cereal out in the house because I was like, this stuff is poison. It's poison. And I never knew that. I genuinely didn't know. Just like how swiping your credit card and taking out all these loans is normal and it's all good. You remember how back in the day, because just for some context for some people, I'm 39. Back in the day when I was like 18, fast food was a norm. It wasn't nearly as recognized and acknowledged that soda was poison, that fast food by and large was poison, that the vast majority of what we were consuming was basically just inflammatory awfulness. And it wasn't the norm then. Now it's way more widely recognized, right? But at the time it wasn't. And I remember when I saw it, I was like, man, no, why am I poisoning myself? Why? Why would I willingly poison myself? That's what this world of debt, loans, credit card spending is to me. It's just like that, where it's like a whole new world has opened up in regards to what our behavior is tied to, what our behavior is tethered to. Seriously, think about this. Why do you keep overspending? Why? And the other part of it is, why are you confused as to what you're spending on? So many people say, I don't know what I'm spending my money on. All this goes back to the four pillars: sleep, nourishment, physical activity, healthy conversation. We're not having the healthy conversations with ourselves and others about, you know what? There's something unstable and dissatisfied about myself. There's something unsettled about my mind. There's something going on inside of me where I am not aware of what I'm doing, and I'm not being honest about it. I'm not being honest about how I'm spending. I'm not being honest about how needless and unnecessary it is. I'm not being honest about how much I'm overextend. Everybody has their different reasons. Some people overextend themselves to, again, going back to the status symbol, going back to just, some people do it because you're trying to impress. It's a lot of impression management, a good old sociological term. It's a lot of impression management. That's the reason. Some other people, you're feeling that void. And I'm not even mad at sometimes when you're feeling the void with certain kind of luxury gourmet foods, but oftentimes we're feeling that void with just junk. But even when it comes to food, that's ridiculous. Because you should be able to cook, like, let's say, chicken broccoli with olive oil on top every day. You have to ask yourself, why can't I eat a basic meal every day if it means that I won't be going into debt? I won't be the slave of a bank. I won't be at the mercy of a financial institution. Why is that so hard? It's better for you, healthier for you, spiritually, mentally. That's why it's so exciting for me. What I love about hitting the stop button on our unhealthy spending habits and hitting the epiphany button on the realization that credit card companies are screwing you over and interest is literally burning money every month. You're literally burning money paying interest. I love that, because what that means is when to stop, you have to become better. That's why. That's, long story short, it always takes me forever to like really get to the ultimate reason why something matters to me so much. What I love about talking about overspending and needless spending is because you have to become a better person in order to stop. You have to become a more aware person in order to stop. You have to become a wiser, more honest person, a more disciplined person in order to stop. You have to become someone where your self-esteem is no longer tethered to what you wear, what you drive, what you have. Instead, it's tethered towards your mentality and your overall internal environment. That's why. That's why. You can't just be on a momentum of indifference. You have to become stronger. That's why I love it so much. That's why I love this conversation. I love anything that like truly is like, especially when it's out of necessity, especially when it's like it's you have no choice. It's like I have to become stronger. I have to become better. I have to become more disciplined. Isn't it crazy that this conversation is not normal? Isn't it crazy that everybody normalizes debt and it's all good? Let me tell you, it's all good in 2025. It's all good in 2026. It's all good in 2027. That balance might still just be whatever. You might be like, la, 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 20. There's always a point where the chickens come home to roost. There's always a dead end eventually. And I hate that I needed to hit rock bottom in order for me to see the light. I try my best to not hit rock bottom with anything. I hate rock bottoms. I hate it. But what I hate even more is when you hit the rock bottom and you don't learn your lesson. That's even worse. When you do hit your rock bottom, when you are in a position now where you're just experiencing a kind of like just utter stress and turmoil and you just can't stop, that's even worse. Stop now. Talk about it now. Think about it now. Credit cards are not your friend, and I know, and like I said, I still use mine, and because I'm sick in the head just like you are. That's my point. And just like how I'm extremely health conscious, but I still gorge on my gluten-free cookies. Gluten-free cookies aren't healthy. They're just less inflammatory. Using my credit card isn't healthy. It's just less inflammatory than the way that I was using it before. And not because now like I pay it off immediately. I'm not playing around with that. And but I am still to an extent. And so, but again, you have to just admit it. The whole point of this, you see, this is a process as just admitting it. Admit it. Try effort plus admittance. You can be honest and still try. You can be honest about how much you hate it while still doing it and still having that struggle and that tug of war inside of yourself. Man, it's just something to talk about. It's something to consider. Especially when you look at it like they don't care about you. They actually love that you utilize their services. These financial institutions love interest, y'all. Not only do they love interest, they need your interest. They need it in order to survive. And what do you get out of it? What do you get out of it? All you get is stress. It's not worth it, man. All right, I'm done.